Okay, hi, Kenny here, and I am out. This is day 2. I was out yesterday riding with the newly installed DNA air filter. Coming out here to getting out in the countryside to see if I can give it a couple of runs, see how it feels. But some overall impressions from even yesterday out riding. I didn't have anything recording. But I did notice a smoother 1 to 2 shift smoothness in shifting, and I have felt, and I've just seen multiple YouTube videos of people mentioning how the hills pull a little better. Got a little hill coming up here. I might give it a shot. But I do notice that the lower gears, when the engine's revving low, it does have a better tendency to pull you along still. So there's that. Again, I have the DNA air filter with the snorkel, the stock air cover, and I'm just taking it through its paces. It does have a pleasant sound. It's not a growl. It's nothing mean, but the sound is a little deeper. Again, this is just preference type thing. I don't think it adds a whole lot to the performance of the bike, but as far as performance notices in performance, it does seem to have you to believe that it's a lot more eager to rev up, and it seems a little bit smoother. It seems like there's a bit of it feels like when you do U-turns, you don't necessarily have to be as it's not as snatchy, it feels like, on the lower rats. And when it comes to doing things like little U-turns, I think that's where I noticed it. So, overall, is it a worthwhile upgrade if you ride a J-Series 350 Bullet motorcycle? I think if you're not looking for if you're not got your expectations, you've set realistic expectations on how much power you're going to get. The smoothness I feel in just the delivery of power and that little liveliness in the low end revs provide, and also the economic benefits of, I guess, not having to buy a filter all the time and just maintaining a single air filter. If that's what you're looking for, the DNA filter is a pretty good upgrade. It's just, it's literally you're buying a new filter. Really, that's it. There's some little subtle performance gains from that. That's pretty much it. So, nothing crazy to talk about. Just DNA air filter on the Bullet 350, and I guess one of my first little performance mods on this bike in the 1 year that I've ridden it. And it is coming up to about a year on the Bullet 350. I am coming up to my 50th birthday, and I'm contemplating adding a second motorcycle to the collection, to be honest with you. I am eyeing at the Triumph T100. And the reason for that is, I think if I were to go for an upgrade and go for something that will replace this bike, it will most likely be a Triumph T100. I love the style of this bike, and I think not that it's necessarily an upgrade. I just feel like the T100 could supplant what the 350 is capable of and still give me that classic look. Having said that, I do like, I love the Bullet has nothing that I don't need. It's got everything I need, and I'm still on the fence, but keeping it as a little bit of a, you know, winter, we can all dream, right? We can all dream, and keeping it as a little winter fantasy. Whether or not I want to give up the garage space, right? I don't know if I want to have 2 motorcycles. I hear about people, here's a hill, it's really running along. I hear about people feeling bad if they get 2 motorcycles and they ride one and not the other. My logic with getting the T100 would be that I would get both, see if I really like the T100 enough to keep it, and perhaps sell the Bullet 350. I really don't want to do that. I kind of like this bike. It does everything I need, and I'm not chasing speed. That's the one thing I am very adamant about. I'm not looking for crazy speed gains. I'm looking to just bibble along, ride my bike in the countryside, and cruise. So, yeah, I don't know. Really don't know. So it is like very late October, and I'm not seeing a lot of motorcycles out there anymore. And I'm not sure why. People aren't interested in dressing up, I guess. But it still doesn't quite feel that cold. I'm wearing a little bit more insulated riding gloves, nothing winterized. Leather jacket. I've got my jeans on with a Kevlar layer. It does seem to block out a little bit of more wind compared to like traditional jeans. I do have one little sneaky thing I'm wearing, and that's the I've got a electric heated vest that I've got turned on. It's on medium heat. I barely notice it, but it's a thin little vest that gives me a little bit more heat, keeps the core a little bit toasty. And I find that really helpful on motorcycle rides, especially if you're only out for like an hour or so. Great for that. And I'm wearing my not wearing my riding boots currently. I'm wearing my Red Wing leather boots. And they're high. They're like, you know, calf length. They block out quite a bit of wind. I do have to say, the one saving grace for me to ride out here right now is my pin lock. Got a pin lock visor insert. It's been super handy because it just my helmet loves the fog, and oh, what a difference it makes with the pin lock visor on. As far as the pin lock visor goes, I don't notice any downsides to it really. It allows me to put my chin skirt back on, so I'm quite insulated from the elements outside, and it still reduces all that fog that builds up on the visor. I can notice where the positions where the visor does not overlap, there is still like it fogs up, so it's definitely doing its job. So pin locks, definitely a worthy investment. But it's getting about that time of the year where you certainly want to have something like this on your visor if you want to keep your face away from all that outside, all that cold air. So anyways, I'm gonna find neutral here. And I do have to say, like, riding out in this kind of weather, there are not a lot of other motorcycles, and I've got some wet type, little moisture on the road here. I don't know if it's a low power bike thing. I obviously have not ridden a whole lot of motorcycles, but the 350 Bullet, with its power and the low power delivery, it gives me a lot of confidence to ride in these situations. I'm not feeling like I am worried. There's some leaves blowing out there on the road. Guys cutting the lawn, but I'm not terribly worried about what's going on well, no, that's not a good word. I'm not too concerned about the weather when it comes to riding 350. I feel like it can go deeper in the season than earlier out in the spring. It just it's very confidence inspiring, and I'm not on a rocket of a bike that's gonna lose its grip on the surfaces. It just keeps going. It is a little weird not seeing a lot of motorcycles out, and it does kind of make me feel like am I doing something really crazy? Am I doing something wrong here? Am I doing it all wrong? So I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna end things here.